Hi everybody, I am Katie Varvos and you are watching the Unemployed Graduate, the show where I talk to you about news and issues that matter to me and hopefully you guys too. So today I wanted to talk to you about a little something called the Winter Olympics. Now, if you don't know or you've been hiding under a massive rock for the last few months, the Winter Olympics is super controversial this year and there is a number of reasons why. Firstly, the construction involved relocating a lot of local residents. Additionally, the construction created a lot of environmental damage. And the bill for the Winter Olympic Games was $50 billion, which critics say represents a boondoggle, a word I had to Google, of outrageous proportions. But the real reason the Olympics has been super controversial this year is because it's based in Russia, and only in June of this year, Russia proposed and passed an anti-gay legislation that bans the propaganda of spreading non-traditional sexual relationships among minors. This bill was passed unanimously. There was 436 to 0, with only one deputy abstaining from the vote. And after the bill was passed, critics said the sexual-oriented violence skyrocketed. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I did cover a story about a gay X Factor contestant who was abused by Russians. And the link to it's just down below. It's horrific if you want to have a look. But as of yet, no athletes have come out to speak against this anti-gay legislation, although it is predicted by the end of the Winter Olympics, some will come out to speak against it. Out and about, a campaign group wanted to spread the word about this anti-gay legislation, and they wanted the Olympics to use the symbol P6. Now, P6 is a principle in the Olympic Charter that states discrimination of any form is not compatible with the Olympic movement. Protesters in several cities around the world gathered to protest about major Olympic sponsors. And yes, while this did prompt major US sponsors to come out and say they're against discrimination and anti-tolerance, no one actually came out to talk about the Russian laws. Which brings me home here to Dublin City, where a popular gay nightclub, the George, has stopped selling Coca-Cola because it is a major sponsor of the Winter Olympic Games. And again, last week we saw RTE apologize and then paid out liable compensation to the Iona Institute. This was after Rory O'Neill, or more famously known as Dublin drag queen Panti, suggested some members of the Iona Institute are homophobic on Saturday Night Show with Brendan O'Connor. RTE said, "These are not the views, and we would like to apologize for upset or distress caused to any individuals named or identified." Currently, RTE earns a staggering €180 million a year in license fee. And additionally, they earn another $160 million in commercial revenue. RTE is a public service broadcaster, and a part of their duty is to debate these contentious issues. But this was not a debate. And RTE does have the financial means to take them to court. Damien Kilbaird made this point in his column. If RTE had chosen to stand its ground on this case, a net argument would move far beyond the narrow legal issue of what the words uttered by O'Neill meant and what effect those words had on the good name and reputation of those whom he named. The argument would become political. Kilbaird suggests that this argument and this action would have gone far beyond the High Court, the Supreme Court, and probably even to the European courts. And so it should. But the good news of this story is that support from all around the nation has gathered onto Team Panti. There's also some really cool photos on their Facebook of Team Panti and people supporting them all around the nation, so go right ahead and support them. And this brings me to the point of today's vlog. And that's that these backwards thinking and ancient ideologies are being supported by major corporations and news organizations. We as a nation do not address and understand these deep underlying issues Coca-Cola and RTE are subtly pushing, then we will never have a chance to liberalize these backwards ideologies. Next time, before you buy a Coke or flick on RTE, have a think and make an informed choice. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and of course subscribe to the channel. And I also will mention that the Early Talent Program is still taking applications. It's a great opportunity for unemployed graduates. Just have a look below in the link down there. All the information is there. Until next week, I'm Katie Varvos, just another unemployed graduate.